What's going on, folks? Painless. Here on this Sunday afternoon, watching a little football. It's halftime right now. Watching that Bucks and Bills game. Pretty good game. Anyway, it's halftime again. And, I figure I'd drop y'all with some commentary. You see the title, folks. And, I've talked about these issues for years. And you have a lot more people. I mean, you got people who was talking about these things before me, but you have a lot more people discussing these issues. And what's also more refreshing, I see it in comments on different social media platforms. I got a TikTok, and I'm gonna tell you, I got a little throwaway TikTok. I don't have a username. It's like user 074869412389. It's one of them users. Because you delve into it to see what's going on, and everybody loves to put their business on Front Street. And you see, you when you watch a particular video, it creates an algorithm, meaning that you'll get more of those topics that reoccur as you scroll. It kind of an algorithm. It picks up on your what you like to listen to or what you like to view. And I saw this sister. She's a clean head sister, meaning she had the Sinead O'Connor or the Woman King thing going on, talking about I don't. What she said? She said, "I don't explain myself to white women." You know, and it kept looping, like it kept going over and over the video if you watch it. And I was looking at the comments, and me, Painless, I don't really have. I mean, I could, but I just don't. To the type of software where I could put up and show actual comments. But I'm seeing a lot of brothers say stuff like one brother said, "You explain yourself to your white woman boss. I bet you that." And I thought that, and it was refreshing to see that, because I've told black women this, that I've known, that I've met, that love to talk all that. I'm so tired of these white folks at the job and all this and stuff, but then turn around at the job cheesing like a Cheshire cat. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop with the tough talk, because 9 times out of 10, you got a Caucasian boss that dictates when you can go on vacation, that dictates your workload for the day, that dictates whether you get a paycheck. And that's what you see a lot of black folks doing, most notably sisters doing. Talking all that noise, and we see now. We saw maybe a couple months ago. Remember the $300,000 job loss and all them getting on here and boohooing? And see, look, let me tell you something. I read this particular article on my phone through the kind of generic news. It gives you particular articles, top news, what's going on for that said day or week. And there was an interesting article, and I may put it in the description box. But what was so surprising with this was I had read that article this morning before I went on my morning walk. And I read I read the whole article. I mean, I skipped some pieces. But again, what was so fascinating with this, I saw the segment on YouTube just a while ago with Ted Koppel. And it was just like, when I was watching the Ted Koppel piece, I was like, I heard this shit before. And then started talking, and I'm about to go and reiterate what I'm discussing. I'm just giving you a brief rundown on what my encounters was with this particular article, this particular piece. So I was like, damn, oh, slept in a car? Oh, 20-year-old living with them in a extended stay? I like, this is the damn article I read this morning. You know? So anyway, I watched the piece on YouTube with Ted Koppel. And it was the same nonsense. You know, these sisters out here with 4, 5 kids living in an extended stay. And see, this is why I'm so glad I got to see the visual. Now, they had 3 sisters that they did a piece on. 3. 2 were unmarried with kids. 1 was married with kids. Okay. The first one, she's living in an extended stay, 4 kids. 1 has asthma and heart problems. Then she got a 20-year-old living in there, which I thought was odd. And there's another child. And of course, she left. They had to throw this shit in there. She left a bad relationship in which hands were put on her. Had to throw that in there. And then on down the line, how she's struggling and this and that. And I thought Ted Koppel was dead, but he's alive. Ted Koppel was doing pieces when I was like 5, 6 years old. I remember 8 years old, 7 years old. He's been around. Ted Koppel been around. Ted Koppel used to be in the hoods doing hit pieces on crack. On crack. Ted Koppel did a story when crack first came out. That's how like when crack first hit the street, Ted Koppel was in the hoods doing segments on the some of the effects that crack had on certain communities, so-called communities. But anyway, they went down, and she's downtrodden, left a bad relationship, and I said to myself, this ain't even the half. And I could look at this sister and tell. I could just tell. You can tell. And like I told y'all many a times, look, let me tell you something. You are the poster child. I was listening to Sergeant Willie Pete. He likes to get up here and talk about that, love to play, white people get more food stamps, but they make black folks the face of it, white folks. You are the face of this shit. Hence the title. You are the face. You see, yes, there are a lot of white folks on EBT, food, aka food stamps. But you know what? You know what I've noticed between poor white folks and poor black folks? Poor white folks are usually married. They typically are married. They poor and dumb than a mother, but they at least got a husband and a wife in the home. You sisters, you know why you're the face? You're out here uncovered. You're out here uncovered. And I see stories like this, and I put it in relation to personal experiences I done had with black women. Like I told you, I met this one sister maybe 5 years ago, and I met her, and she was an Uber driver. This was before the pandemic, so this ain't nothing new. So she was an Uber. I said, shoot, that's all you do? She like, yeah, because I ain't trying to sit up in nobody's job. And, I got the freedom to do what I want. And when I want to get up and go, I can go. And see, that was very short-lived, very short-lived. did what I had to do with that and left that alone, if you know what I mean. Um, but that's the mind state of a lot of these sisters out here these days. In her feeble mind, she thought she was really doing something. And I'm like, and I looked at her car and it was very, I said, you putting all, well, I didn't say, because in my mind, like, damn, I know you putting a lot of miles on that car. And these are the same sisters that, oh, you want all this freedom. Freedom to do what? To go travel and shit and spend money. How many times have I said that these sisters out here are traveling and spending money they ain't got on credit card and doing this shit on credit cards, or not paying their damn rent or mortgage, and then want to get on these shows and woe is me. That shit's coming. It's come to a stop. It's come to a stop. But yeah, that's the run of the mill with these black women out here these days. Spending money they ain't got, then want to get on the tonight, Good Morning America, and we supposed to feel sorry. You got this lady had a 20-year-old who to me looked like a big ass kid. When I was 20, I was, I was in the army, had my own stuff, getting the education, getting job skills up under my belt that I utilize to this day. And then I got to thinking, okay, if this baby daddy was putting hands on you, are these all your kids by him? Like, you start asking questions. And we're living in a society where to ask those questions like, well, you don't need to know that. Well, you shouldn't put your goddamn business out on Front Street for people to even question you. And then, she paying $60 a day to rent a car, just to drive Uber. And paying, and they tried to spin this shit. This is the spin. And of course, you had a disingenuous white male liberal, Lil Brad, talking about, people are really trying to take advantage and make money off people's homelessness. They're staying at the extended stays where they're paying way more than they would if they just rented. No shit. And see, that's the spin. No, have you ever, I would ask these liberals, have you ever considered the bad decision making that a lot of these women have put themselves in? And I've told y'all, disingenuous Caucasians got to learn the hard way. They're the same ones that will move in whatever said so-called community, and then when they get a 45 shoved in their nose while they're walking their Shih Tzu at 9:30 at night, thinking shit is sweet. Oh my gosh! Oh! We told your ass. But the disingenuous Caucasian liberal thinks he has a fucking answer for everything. He thinks he can do everything. He thinks he's the final boss up in this piece. And they quickly find out that's just not the case. So that's the spin they try to make on that. And then you had another sister in there, she had, of course, she had breast cancer, and I'm not making light of that. It was all this downtrodden. In other words, I'm going to wrap this particular shit up. In other words, they tried to skirt the issue that they had no hand in the jacked up situation that they was in. That's what the spin also was. So you had, I'm out here because a nigga used to kick my ass, so I had to leave, but I still continue to have more kids with him. And then, you got the other one that were married. They was, the brother up there sitting up there looking like a big oof, not saying much, being what the so-called black community expects black men to be, uh, not taking charge. She doing all the goddamn talking. He just sitting up there like a big ass boy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the picture that continuously gets perpetuated. And guys like myself are just not. There's a reason. Look, let me tell you something, brothers. If you're kicking ass, taking names, and you're somewhat you're stable, you somewhat got shit going on for yourself. You go to the gym. It's not you, brother. Why you're not finding what you want? It's not you. All one has to do, see, is look outside. I always say, look at your life. Not you. But when you think, sometimes when you sit and reflect and wonder like, God damn, man, what, shit, is it me? No, it ain't you. It's the outside. I tell you, we live in bizarro land. Maybe I've said that a lot of times back in the day. And I still believe we live in a society where right is wrong, wrong is right, down is up, left is right, bad is good. That's what we living at. But you know what? You got to hold it in the road and look at the results. Look at your life and look at the results. You out here, sister, door dashing, Ubering, renting a car to do that shit. Not only do you have to cover food and rent or wherever you living at for you and your kids, you got to cover that goddamn rental you doing. Make that make sense. You know why? Because you're out here uncovered. That's another spin they don't want to talk about. So when you have Sergeant Willie Pete's out here saying, white people, they're worse. No, they're not worse than you. No, they are not worse than black folk. No. You sisters out here uncovered. I told you about a story where this sister had 3 kids living in the area with a bunch of Mexicans, and one of her kids got into it with the other kid. She went over there to confront the woman about the kid, and she damn near had the whole vial on her motherfucking head. And you know why? They know you're uncovered. They know ain't no man living up in there. So that's why you get treated the way that you do. So yes, you are the face of this shit. And also the thing is, see, on this particular segment with Ted Koppel, they had, of course, the Reform Sister that's got a nonprofit that's going to help women that can't find no place to stay and all this. And, I used to be her, and I started this because I want, no bullshit. You probably had, and that's what, and look, let me tell you something. That's what's going to happen with a lot of these sisters that done lost their positions in HR and all this, all these jobs, these federal government jobs that they thought they were safe and all this. This is going to be their new MO. They're going to start nonprofits, get the money, trick it off on trips and shit like that. Scan, where'd the money go? Hashtag, where's the money? And it's going to be business as usual. That's been going on. But, excuse me, it's really going to enhance now. All these sisters that, I didn't put in 150 resumes, I can't get a job. This is going to be their new ploy. Non-profits. Scamming. You're going to see more scamming because they want this lifestyle. They want to keep this lifestyle. This is the face. You're the face. Let me tell you something, folks. My God, boy. Since this shutdown in EBT and SNAP, job loss, especially federal job loss, I've never seen one I haven't seen anybody else other than black folks being the face of this shit. Be in the face. And it's no conspiracy. You are that. You are the face. Ain't nobody just picking, oh, let's get some black folks and make it. No, you are the face. You, sisters, you are the face of home. Look, brothers been homeless. Brothers been homeless. But a lot of us, we just, I've been houseless or homeless at one time, back in like 99, early 2000. It was like for 3 weeks, but nevertheless, I was deemed. But being a black men in general, especially black, since, well, black, and this is another thing that I like about TikTok comments. Every time a brother there says that sisters are the new face of homeless, well, black men are homeless too, blah, 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 blah. No shit, we've been homeless. But see, the thing is, we can adjust, and we're more apt to deal with the rigors of that. You're not. So when brothers out here get on TikTok or do YouTube or Instagram and say that sisters are the new face of homelessness, they are correct. They're exact. You are that. You are that. Nobody's trying to look, no, nobody's trying to make this a conspiracy. You are the new face of unemployment and homelessness. You see, Maria, she'll be homeless, but she's covered. You're non-covered. You're uncovered. You're uncovered. And you're going to see in this particular video, I'm jumping back to this TikTok that this brother, man, he was like, yeah, man, I was seeing like 7s and 8s, homeless. He like, I ain't see no dimes or nothing. But he was like, I saw 6 7s and 8s in terms of, lookability, in terms of attractiveness. That's what he was meaning. He like, yeah, man. I was like, and I believe him. It's the truth. You sisters are sleeping in your Kia Sorrentos that you paying $513 on, a 2019. You're door dashing, Ubering, and sleeping in your Kia Sorrento. Or now you're doing this and you're sleeping in these high-priced vehicles. See, that's why I say, all these segments and news articles, Google it if you don't believe Painless. Black women are the face of unemployment and homelessness. They're the new faces. Because that's all, brothers say, we don't even get segments. Not that we should see segments. But ain't no black man getting no segment. They will not find corporate and society will not go out and find 3 black men and put them on cable network to talk about why they're homeless. You may see that on YouTube, some brother or somebody, with a microphone this out on the street. I think there's a guy that does it. Atlanta News Story or Atlanta Stories 2.0, something like that. There's somebody doing it. But you ain't going to have Ted Koppel or Tom Brokaw going out and find 3 brothers to talk about, hey, man, how did you get here? Because nobody gives a shit. It's always been, but see, now you sisters, y'all are the new faces of this shit. Yeah. And it's because you wanted to be, and you continue to be, uncovered. Running around in the wilderness. I'm telling you. So it went from homelessness, it went from evictions. You had a place to stay, but you wanted to go to Dubai and Caracas and spend all this money. You come back, you got eviction notices stacked up outside in your mailbox or Or in your door, when you walk in, them shits is just falling. Now you've been evicted. Now you're all on the damn streets. Well, panelists, aren't these the most educated? That's a myth. And if so, what do you have to show for it? We see, look, let me tell you something. All these sisters with these federal jobs complaining and boo-hooing, and you ain't got to check. I mean, they getting paid now, but you're in the goddamn pantry line in 2 weeks. Like, you already needing food? And then I look at you, you don't look like you're missing no meals, sister. Now you're already talking about getting evicted? Something ain't right. And you know what ain't right? And you know what it is, folks? They're spending money they ain't fucking got. Excuse my language, the F word. They're spending money they ain't got. That's why they ass is in, doing news segments saying, I'm about to get evicted. I'm a federal employee. This shouldn't be happening to me. But you know what the irony with that is? The irony is that these sisters are the same one talking about no MAGA. I wish they would have hit Trump. They missed him. Boots and pearls. That's the irony of this. You think Trump don't know that? You think Trump don't look at D.C. and say all these shines out here with these federal jobs? These are the same ones who wish they would have hit me, if you know what I mean, when that perpetrator tried to take out our president. You think he don't know that? You think he don't know that they were the ones that was like, F Donald Trump, dun, dun, F Donald Trump. You think Trump doesn't know who these people are? He don't give a shit about y'all. Y'all are cannon fodder. And I told you, it's no fun when the rabbit got the gun, goddammit. I told you that. The same sisters that are sleeping in their car and begging for SNAP benefits is the very man that controls that lever. That's the irony. Y'all talked all that shit. Boots and Paul. I wish that he didn't miss when he attempted. And look at you now. Trump is controlling the levers based off your bad decisions. So yes, you are the new face of this shit. It's just what it is. You're the new face. And things are going to get worse. You wanted all this independence. You wanted it. Now you got it. And in the natural, well, painless, what's the solution? Ain't no damn solutions. I mean, the ball's in their court. So it's kind of like this. Us as guys, and I don't care whether you Hispanic, white, Asian, they're going to need you before you need them. Most of these sisters are going, so be careful when dealing with women nowadays, especially sisters, because a lot of them are desperate. A lot of women are desperate now. A lot of women are desperate, and it's like a goddamn vampire. Y'all seen them movies? Once you fight their ass in, you can't get their ass out. Don't you let them walk in that door. I'm telling you, once you allow these women in, and they start staying there and collecting mail there, and they've been there. The law gonna treat y'all like a husband, common law. It depends where you live, but to alleviate all that, don't do it. Don't do that shit. But yeah, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. Look, Trump has is cutting off the proverbial tit that of Uncle Sam. You know what I'm saying? Like with all this Obamacare and Affordable Care Act, affordable health care, what the hell does that even mean? Like when people say affordable housing, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, affordable for who? But yeah, back on that Ted Koppel piece, this disingenuous white liberal, he tries to make it seem like there's some boogeyman, taking advantage of people's home. No, it's people making dumb ass decisions. When you allowing Pookies and Ray Rays to penetrate you and ejaculate you and give you kids, and then you want to, you don't get your way and do whatever you got to do, and no, that's you. So yeah, Sergeant Willie P, it is personal goddamn accountability and responsibility. Yes. Are things perfect? No, but the likelihood of you making decent, good decisions, pondering, thinking about the cause and effect, you won't find yourself in predicaments like that. So yes, he loves to talk about white folks saying personal responsibility. Yes, you should. Anybody in the sound of my voice, yes, you should practice and do personal accountability and responsibility. Yes, you should do that. Your life will be easier. Will everything be perfect? No, but you're more likely to be in more an advantageous position if you think about shit you gonna do before you do it. I mean, damn. But yeah, just being uncovered, and this is what you wanted. I can't tell you how many sisters I see up here lugging big cases of water. Can barely walk up them stairs, huffing and puffing. But they got to do it. You know why? They want that independence. But see, that independence is being cut. That shit is being cut, folks. But yeah, you want to look up that article or put it in YouTube. I don't feel like putting that shit in the description box. You go out and look for it. But yeah, you're the new face of this shit, sister. Painless out.